Hi, and welcome to World News. My name is Violet Romero, and I am here with my co-host Valerie. Today we have a breaking news story on information about the possible sixth-mass extinction. Today we have other news anchors that cover four main topics on what is leading us towards the path of a possible sixth-mass extinction. We will cover how garbage, gas, deforestation, animals, and farming have impacted us and our environment. Right now we are covering garbage, talking about fast fashion and single-use plastics.
Thank you, Violet. The fashion industry is currently responsible for more annual carbon emissions than any international flights and maritime shipping combined. If the industry maintains its course, an increase of 50% in the greenhouse gas emission is expected within a decade. With so many things trending every day, a major thing that has and always will be trending will be fashion.
Fashion is a way to express yourself in many ways and can be perceived as an art form. A lot of people find happiness in expressing themselves through clothing, wanting to be on top of fashion trends, which leads us to the point that clothing can be expensive, and people will turn to fast fashion. Fast fashion is a clothing that is inexpensive and goes with the trending styles. Brands like Shein, Forever 21, H&M, Fashion Nova, and many more cheap clothing brands. However, fashion is a serious problem today because it is affecting the whole world environmentally.
A statement that was made by the World Bank News about how much is wasted on clothing is 40% of purchased clothing is never used. According to many World Bank's news, the information they gathered from the United Nations Environment Program state, according to figures from United Nations Environment Programming, it takes 3,781 liters of water to make a pair of jeans from the production of the cotton to the delivery of the final product to the store. To put that in math perspective, the liters of water converted into gallons would be 998.83 gallons.
To make that stand out even more on how much water is being wasted, that is how much water one human being can survive off in the course of a bit under 3 years. Furthermore, textile dyeing requires toxic chemicals that subsequently ends up in our oceans. Approximately 20% of the wastewater worldwide is attributed to this process, which accumulates over time. The toxic chemicals released into the ocean harm wildlife and could decrease ocean population sizes, which will lead us to having less fish to eat, or dying seaweed, which is 50 to 80% of where our oxygen comes from.
However, there are solutions to slow down the production of fast fashion. We can decrease it by shopping for higher quality clothes that may be a little more pricey but will last longer. Another great solution is to shop at the secondhand clothing stores. It's cheaper and rewarding. When you find a great piece of clothing.
Another major garbage problem is affecting our environment that is leading us to the sixth mass extinction are single-use plastics. Single-use plastics, including things like plastic water bottles, plastic bags, straws, and things that you throw away after one use. In a seminal report published in 2014, a scientist named Erickson and an international team of scientists calculated that there are at least 5.25 trillion individual pieces of plastic floating in the world's ocean, a total of 268,940 tons.
More than 92% of these pieces of microplastics less than 5 millimeters in size, or about half of the width of a thumbtack. Every year, countless of animals are killed by plastic. Seabirds, fishes, turtles, and marine mammals are found to have fishing gear or plastic bags in their stomachs.
Single-use plastic is typically used once, but it needs hundreds of years to break down in landfills. About 86% of Canada's plastic wastes end up in a landfill. The remaining 5% of the plastic is burned to create energy, which causes a serious emission problems or enters environments as litter. Disposable plastics such as plastic straws, bags, coffee stirrers, food, packaging, and soda and water bottles never break down completely. Instead, they degrade and become microplastics and continue to pollute the environment. Solutions can be investing in products that can be reused multiple times in order to avoid purchasing single-use plastics. Instead of Ziploc bags, bring your own lunch to work in a Tupperware container.
Hopefully, after learning about the garbage waste, you can change something in your everyday life to help us not go into the sixth mass extinction. Now on to Nathan covering gas.
Thank you for the excellent handoff, guys. Now to continue this breakdown of the mass extinction, we also need to talk about air pollution, which also has a really big part to this whole thing. Most notably, greenhouse gases. These gases include nitrous, methane, and most notably carbon dioxide. These gases can be produced naturally from sources like volcanic ash, wildfires, or even allergens. However, the production of these gases increased tenfold over the recent years with the mass burning of fossil fuels in order to produce heat or electricity. Another notable cause for this spike in emissions is your car's own emissions. Now, these gases get trapped in our atmosphere with really nowhere else to go because of various other aspects of pollution. Over time, these gases will heat up our Earth's atmosphere, which causes a lot of problems for both our environment and our bodies alike. This is what we call global warming. Smog is also another type of air pollution. Think of it as evil mist almost. Made of both sulfoxides and photochemicals, these gases can cause irritation in the eyes or even respiratory organs. These can also hinder growth in plants in any given area. These gases not only affect our environment, but they also have terrible effects on the body over time. Particles that can be as small as a single molecule can sneak into the body, cause lung inflammation, and embed themselves into your bloodstream. Studies show if that this goes unnoticed for long enough, signs of cancer may show. These harmful gases may also cause a stroke, as they also have the ability to constrict blood vessels if exposed to large amounts of pollution at one time. These gases have also been known to cause birth defects and birth complications, according to recent studies regarding early prenatal development. In order to solve this issue, we need to get together and understand that large problems require larger solutions. In order to leave a large enough footprint on this issue, we need to reconsider how heavily reliant our world has become on motor transportation. In the US alone, more than 75% of commuters drive alone either to work or school every single day. Quite a high number, isn't it? This crazy stat can be dampened by a shift in cultural attitudes towards valuing public transportation. Instead of making room for new highways, we need to make cities walkable and more fit for these public transportation. According to studies from UCLA, gas emissions can be reduced by about 45% with this new status quo. Getting people off the road and encouraging transport via city planning is an excellent way to tackle this issue when it comes to gas emissions. Along with this change, we can also continue making steps to eliminate cars that create such emissions in the first place. Governor Newsom's executive order N7920 sets a plan to prohibit the sale of these kinds of cars by 2035 across all of California. This is definitely a step in the right direction, it seems. Now let's take a brief moment to talk about deforestation and its effect on the environment.
Good evening, my name is Cassandra Rios, reporting to you from Riverside, California on the effects of deforestation. Many people may wonder what deforestation is and why it's a problem. Deforestation is the removal of a forest that is then converted to a non-forest use. Deforestation can involve the conversion of forest land to farms, ranches, or urban use. The most concentrated deforestation occurs in tropical rainforests. This is important to be aware of because trees absorb and store carbon dioxide. If forests are cleared or even disturbed, they release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Forest loss and damage is the cause of around 10% of global warming. Many factors related to cutting down trees contribute to driving species to extinction. If these factors are ignored and no changes are made, they can lead to catastrophic consequences such as the sixth mass extinction. Ending deforestation is our best chance to conserve wildlife and defend the rights of forest communities. On top of that, it's one of the quickest and most cost-effective ways to curb global warming. Now here's Lydia Sanchez, a member of the RCC Sustainability Club, to provide some solutions on preventing deforestation.
Thank you, Cassandra, for informing our viewers about the causes and effects of deforestation. Now that we know the problem, here are a few solutions the National Park Service recommends. One of those solutions is planting trees where you can, and also creating and maintaining urban forests. Doing this can help contribute to improving air quality, lowering the temperature, reducing energy consumption in buildings, and even removing tons of pollutants from the air. Another solution is recycling. Every product that is made out of trees is recyclable. Buying recycled products and then recycling them again helps avoid the unnecessary use of paper products created by deforestation. We should all practice recycling diligently. Purchasing from sustainable forest-friendly businesses is another solution. Purchasing from deforestation-free companies like Disney, L'Oreal, Hershey, and Wilmer International supports the cause while also taking away business from companies that aren't forest friendly. These are all key solutions to keep in mind regarding preventing deforestation, especially when considering we are on the brink of the sixth mass extinction. Now, on to our next news anchor.
Thank you, Cassandra and Lydia. In breaking news, meat eaters may speed worldwide species in extinction.
Humanity has wiped out 60% of animals since 1970. A major report has found that the vast and growing human consumption of food and resources has been destroying the web of life, which human society ultimately depends on, for clean air, water, and everything else. Clearing land for livestock production will spur species loss in countries rich in biodiversity. 40% of U.S. land is used for agricultural purposes like farming and managing livestock. Although it may not seem like we play a direct part in contributing to the problem, that's through consumption. Diets rich in beef and other red meat can be bad for a person's health. Eating meat regularly increases a person's risk of developing heart disease, diabetes, pneumonia, and other serious illnesses. The practice is equally bad for Earth's biodiversity. Meat consumption is responsible for releasing greenhouse gases, such as methane, CO2, and nitrous oxide. Our solution to this is cutting meat consumption by 25%. It would reduce annual greenhouse gas emissions by 1%. It lowers the demand for meat products and in turn reduces the land use and environmental damage of the meat industry. Where?
I got it. I'm gonna take this. Hello? Okay. We just got a word that pesticides is also a contributing factor to a sixth mass extinction. The most common of these are herbicides, which account for approximately 80% of all pesticide use. Humans have used pesticides to destroy the base of the food chain. Insect species are declining. A third of them are endangered. The rate of extinction is 8 times faster than mammals, birds, and reptiles. 75% of insects have been wiped out. Researchers found that 3/4 of flying insects have vanished, 75% annually, 82% in the summer. The reasons are the loss of food and exposure to pesticides. 76% of birds have also been wiped out. The main reason for this is the loss of insects. A solution to this is try using non-chemical management methods on your lawn and garden. Try introducing beneficial insects and wild, native plants or physical methods, using hand weeds, mulching, or setting traps to reduce chemical use in outdoors.
This is FNN News with World News, and
thank you for watching our show.